Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're watching, you know you're on Give It to the People Live. And I have a guest because let me tell you why I even asked her. First of all, she's fabulous in her own right, okay? That's one. But two, because she corrected me online. Okay, do you even remember doing that?
No.
Okay.
I do.
No, but you know what? I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, if I made a mistake, honey, correct me. Let me know. But I had put out a post. This was probably a good year ago. And I was saying something about, like, if people were life coaches, and I was like, for people to tag people that were life coaches in the post. And somebody tagged you. I don't know. But she was like, first of all, I'm not a life coach. I'm a licensed therapist. And there is a difference. And I was like, oh, who's she coming for? But I was thinking like you were making a clear distinction about it is a drastic difference. And this is not a knock on life coaches, because I got plenty of friends who are life coaches who are wonderful. And I think everybody can serve in their own way. But you made that known. She was like, I am not a life coach. And so you just giving that distinction was one of the things where I was like, you better tell me what you are, ma'am. So, Samaria, just go ahead and tell them who you are. And she is not a life coach, but she can get your life together, though. Okay, there you go.
So it's true. I'm not a life coach. I am a licensed mental health therapist. LCSW is my credentials. I'm the founder of Kingdom Creative Counseling. I'm a published author. And, of course, I'm not against life coaches. I know a lot of life coaches. I have some friends that are life coaches, so no shade to you guys. But sometimes people do confuse the two and think, oh, if I need this type of service, I need a coach. And I'm like, no, you need a counselor. And we're working together, but we are still two different things.
But the semantics of things, people will think that one thing is the other, and they'll put it together.
Right.
And to me, I would say that one of the biggest differences would be education.
Right.
Like there are people that have licenses, if you want to say it like that, or that go through certification processes, but they still don't have to go through all of the schooling that you had to go through in order to be a licensed therapist. So can you just tell them, like, how long did you have to go to school? What was that process? And then, like, once you got out and decided, well, look, I might not want to work for another company, but I want to start my own business.
Right. So I've been in school almost about 10 years, but on average, a licensed therapist has to go maybe 6 to 8.
Okay.
Once you get your graduate degree, then you have to go under provisional licensing.
There we go.
We have a supervisor. You do that for 2 years. You get about 3,000 hours, depending upon your clinical. I think we have LPC, LCSW. You'll go under supervision for about 2 years, and then after that, you get your full licensure. So I've been to school a little bit long because I want to get my PhD, but generally 6 to 8 years. So when people say licensed coach versus a licensed counselor, licensed coaches, you can get licensure in a couple days, couple weeks, depending upon your licensure.
It's not a 10-year process to do that, a 6-year process.
Right.
And that's why I was like, I wanted you to, explain that, because it's the same, well, not the same, but very similar to a person that goes to medical school and then they're underneath, or a person that's trying to be a lawyer and then they have to practice underneath somebody. Even when you talk about this, a lot of people don't know, even with barbers, even once they go through barber school, they still have to be underneath somebody in order to, so it's a difference in education and in the time. And then when you just threw in a number and said another 3,000 hours after you've been to school, then think about how many people you've been able to counsel in that time frame of 3,000 hours. Yeah. So, and then after that, you start your business.
Well, after that, you have to you still have to get your license renewed every year. So that's it's not like eternal. Not every year. So every 2 years you have to renew your license, and then within those 2 years you have to get 40 hours of continuing education units. So in order to keep our license current and make sure that we're active within the field, and make sure we know what current treatment modalities and things are, we still have to continue to go on and further our work.
But the 40 hours, is it per year or within the constraints of 2 years?
Within the constraints of 2 years.
Okay, all right.
So my license get ready to be renewed probably in June. So I have my continuing education units, 40 hours I've done over the period of 2 years. That's helped me to.
Oh, okay, all right. And see, that's why I think that it's important to make the distinction and important to tell people the difference, because it's not that you can't be great as a life coach, but there would still be certain skill sets that you have that would then, now can you also, because I don't know this, but I think you can you also prescribe medicine? Like if you had a patient that said, well, I have anxiety or depression or, something like that, can you prescribe medicine?
I cannot prescribe medication. I do closely work with prescribers though. And so what happens is for therapists, we have a running knowledge of medication. So if a client comes to us and they're saying, hey, we have these side effects, I don't know what's going on. We can't advise, but we know, based upon this medication, I don't know if you'll be feeling that way. And we also communicate with the doctors. A lot of times the doctors won't even see you unless you're actively seeing a therapist. They'll say if you're not seeing a therapist at least once a month or something like that, because you may not even see a doctor but once every 3 months. So it just depends upon what's going on with the person, their acuity level, their mental health. But we do work close together.
Okay. So your doctor should not, let's be clear, your doctor should not be prescribing you something that is for your mental health, right? Unless that you are seeing a therapist, so that this way they can kind of verify what you're saying is wrong, and then try to be able to, fix it as far as with
they
that.
shouldn't be. Now, some people
and
do.
that's what I'm saying. Best practice should be.
And sometimes
not
you're
just
like
giving you drugs.
Yeah. And if you're like something mild going on, sometimes they're okay with you just having, just doing medication. But most of the time, for more severe like mental health conditions, they really require you to have a therapist. And sometimes other services in place as well.
Now, I specifically wanted to have a therapist on, and I'm going to do a whole series with therapists. I'm just letting you know in advance. So if y'all are watching, just FYI, make sure you share, make sure you tag somebody who might need to be paying attention to this. People have been asking me since we started doing this show about a therapist. Like, I see people saying, do you know a black therapist? Is there a woman therapist? Therapist, right? And, I mean, for your industry, and I hate to say it like this, but people being a little messed up is really the... That's what I'm saying. But people being a little messed up, and it's not that we haven't been messed up. People being a little messed up and recognizing that they need to talk to somebody else, like that should have your business booming now, because the whole thing of mental health and self-care and awareness and self-help and all of that is great, but people are really realizing, like, there's been some generational stuff, or there's been some trauma that I've gone through, and I actually need to talk to somebody. Like, people are actually seeking therapists out now.
Absolutely.
And, have you noticed like a jump in the last like year, 2 years, or anything like that?
Yes, we have. And people are more willing to have that conversation. I think there's certain movements that are going on in our world that people are having this conversation. Yeah. Even like the Me Too movements, the issue with like R. Kelly and everything that's going on with his story. Out of control. Like, we started seeing people calling because they've experienced sexual trauma, all those things. So things that happen around us is resonating with people, and they're saying, okay, now I need to seek a therapist. In times past, it was like, oh, you just pray about it,
or just put it under the rug and don't even talk about it,
because it's not that serious. And but to be willing to have that conversation, it is true. People oftentimes they want to seek counseling from someone that looks like them, for understand their perspective.
Definitely.
I do have a lot of female clients. I have a lot of African American clients, and they're coming out specifically saying, I was looking for a black therapist.
Or a woman therapist.
Or a woman therapist.
And that's what I keep seeing. Now, have you seen an increase in men, just in general, or specifically? Because I've been reading a ridiculous amount of just information on just therapy, depression, anxiety, all of those things recently. And then there seems to be this movement specifically of black men where they feel a little bit more comfortable with coming out now. And especially in the area of, for me, sports, but that's because I watch a lot of sports, where I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh, well, my therapist. And then even the rappers, right? Like, I'm listening to interviews, and then like you have dudes that you knew they needed to go to therapy, but you didn't know they were going to therapy, and they keep saying my therapist, and it's like, in a way, I feel so proud that people are actually saying I'm going to therapy now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have seen a trend. I have, I do have guy clients and male clients, particularly African American males who come in for counseling. I think that is absolutely awesome. I still have more female clients than male, but the fact that they're coming in and recognizing that it's okay to seek therapy. It's okay. Like, it doesn't mean you're not manly. Who you are, manly or masculine. It just means that you're a human being having a human experience, and like everyone else, you have some struggles, and that's okay. What's not okay is not doing anything or thinking it's going to go away if I just shrug it off. But we do see a lot of a trend now.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. I'm happy about that. I wish will continue. I hope it doesn't stop where people are now having this conversation.
But I think that it's going to be one of those things where some people will do it because it's trendy. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that there's some person out there, I don't want to call no names because I probably don't know you, but maybe I do. But there are some people out there that are just like, I just want to say I'm going to a therapist, and I want to say my therapist. Because I think that in a lot of ways, therapy was seen as one of those things that was more of a rich, elite class kind of thing. So if you say you have a therapist, it's like, oh, you got therapist money? Girl, you got money. If you have therapist money. So it was one of those things where it was just like, and the reason I'm saying this because some people that probably were going to the therapist still continued the same behavior, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they just wanted to say that they were going to a therapist. But then you have people that I know for a fact that I have friends that are going to therapists, and I can clearly see a difference.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, girl, you going to a therapist, huh? Like, you really learning something? Mm-hmm. Like, and it's just an amazing thing to see people who, because it's one thing to talk to your friends, right? And, we want to support you and stuff, but maybe it's a perspective that we haven't even thought of because we're so close to the situation that the therapist will then come up with some stuff.
Absolutely.
So if a person said, hey girl, I love this interview and I want to come because I've been looking for a therapist. What's the best type of client for you? Because I like to ask that question because just because people want to work with you doesn't mean that that's going to be a good fit.
Right.
So I like to ask people, well, who would be great to be your client?
Mm-hmm. Now I'm seeing a lot of young professionals.
Really?
Yeah,
a
lot of young professionals around my age too. Yeah. But professionals are coming in. I think that's really important. No matter what place you find yourself in life. I have other therapists that I see. I have other. I've seen like probation officers. I've seen like all kinds of like other entrepreneurs. So these are people that come in. So generally, what happens is when you come in, I don't guarantee them when you come into my office and you do an evaluation that I'm going to be your therapist. So what happens is we do your mental health evaluation and determine if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, then we continue on. If for some reason, there are times every now and again where it's not a good fit, then I will assist you in finding a different therapist. Mm-hmm. So scenarios where it's not a good fit, if a person needs a higher level of care, if there's something going on that's not my area of expertise, then I would defer you to someone else, or I make sure I find that person that would be a better fit for you. But generally, just calling in, of course, I accept insurance, so you want to make sure that I'm in network with your insurance. I'll verify that as well.
Tell them about in network, because let me tell you something. Listen, they tried to pull a maneuver with my insurance for the regular doctor and then try to say, oh, okay, well, this is not the thing. Now, a lot of times, and I don't know if this is with your practice, but when you go, because we talked about this when we had the dentist on also, if you go to like the medical place, let's just say, because I go to Bethany Medical Clinic, there are multiple doctors there. All of those doctors are not in your network.
Right.
So you go to see your doctor, and if the insurance changed, you don't even know your doctor that you've been seeing that you're comfortable with is not in network anymore, and then they charge you ridiculous prices. Right. But they, behind the counter, who know this, do not tell you that this doctor's not in network anymore. But they ask you for your insurance card when you go up to the thing. So shouldn't they tell you that and then switch you to another doctor? But it does not happen like that all the time.
And sometimes they don't know, because dealing with insurance is another whole issue. But
I need you to find out.
So what I do is when you call our agency, what happens is I try to get your insurance information over the phone so we can verify.
So this way you know.
So we know. Now some people, they don't feel comfortable because technically you're not my client yet. So I'm technically calling to verify. You're not my client until you physically come into the office and then we do the evaluation.
They need to. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, okay, listen, if I'm coming to see you, I need to make sure it's covered.
Right. So generally, I have a list of like insurance companies that I'm in network with, and so you
can say, okay, what's your insurance?
Right, and then I can still call them or get online with the insurance company to verify. Some people don't feel comfortable. You can always call your insurance company right away. It'll be either under my name, Samaria M. Cobra, or it'll be under the business name, Kingdom Creative Counseling. So either way, you can see if it's in network with us. We try not to just have you get in there and say, oh, by the way. It does happen every now and again because some insurance has changed. They think they have one insurance.
That's what I'm saying.
The numbers change. They, could you sign up for another insurance carrier in the beginning of the year? Maybe your deductible is different, and they don't even know that every year sometimes your insurance may change.
And that's
all that kind of is like, oh, I didn't know. I had it this last year. Now, y'all saw you know, that kind of thing. It's like,
well, mine worked out because they tried to pull a maneuver, and I was like, no, ma'am. This was the insurance. And, you know, you look at the dates on there, and she's like, oh, well, I was going to. How would you possibly go by the old insurance when I gave you the new insurance card?
Right,
so because you billed it wrong, that's not my fault. So now you need to go back and do that over.
Rebill it.
But I like the fact that you're saying no up front. Tell me what the insurance is. This is who I know I'm with, and then you won't have a problem.
Right.
So would you say, because I don't know, because I have not been to a therapist, not saying that I don't need to go, I just haven't been, with insurance, if you have insurance, would you say that it's an affordable thing? Because are they just paying like a copay when they come usually if they have insurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the time insurance isn't affordable. Now, of course, depending upon what plan you sign up for, if you have a deductible, you have to pay your deductible down first. So that just means what you got to pay out of pocket. So if you have a $5,000 deductible, $5,000 deductible, I still have to take the information out. You see your cash out of pocket. Excuse me. I still have to take it out of pocket until you meet your deductible. Yeah. Then you may have a copay of $25 depending upon like what's on your card.
So check your deductible.
But check your deductible because again that renews every year too. So people think, oh, I made it last year, so this year I didn't gotta. No,
because then that deductible is every year too.
Right,
so if you pay, you still got to pay the next year. Okay,
right.
That's important stuff.
That's important.
Now, if they are coming, because do you accept like, I don't have insurance, I just got to pay out of pocket? You accept those people too?
That. Yep.
Okay.
And another thing is really helpful also if your employer may offer an EAP, which is called Employee Assistance Program, and that means the employer will pay for a certain amount of sessions of no charge to you, but they are paying it. And I'm in network with a lot of EAP, so you want to look at your HR and just ask them, do we have an EAP? How many sessions do I cover? Most of the time, they'll give you a list of EAP providers. I will more than likely be on that list if I'm in network with that particular EAP. Okay. Whatever that the company is contracted with. And sometimes they pay up to 8. I've heard some companies only pay up to 3 sessions, but it's still something that's better than nothing. But it's
something than nothing, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And then if you want to continue on after those EAP benefits are over, then you would step in and have to use your health insurance.
Okay, all right. And that's for the people that have jobs,
right?
Okay, that have insurance at the job.
If you're an entrepreneur, you probably don't have an EAP.
You got an EAP. Right. Did I earn enough money to pay this? That's right. If you are self-employed, you got your own EAP. You probably don't have an EAP. But then you have to make that decision. But the thing that I would say is that if it helps overall with your life, with you being able to deal with certain situations, you know, it could be definitely worth it, right?
Absolutely. I think your mental health is so important. Make that a priority.
Yeah.
You can't pour from an empty well. Like you just can't pour from an empty well.
Tell them.
And counseling.
Did y'all hear that?
Counseling is a wonderful place where we don't know you outside of the counseling practice. We're not going to be biased. It's a non-judgmental place. I tell people I've been doing this for I've been in the mental health field for 14 years. So there's probably nothing you're going to be able to tell me that makes my mouth drop to the floor and I'm like, oh, you shouldn't think.
As soon as you say that, somebody's going to come through with a mouth drop.
Right. So, but it's that place, a safe place where you should feel comfortable to talk about your fears, to talk about what's going on, or your anxiety or depression, and not feel like you're not something enough because you have this feeling that's not happy all the time. And it's not,
now, I have a word that I want, it's actually a phrase that I want to get your input on this, because I've heard a lot of people recently saying imposter syndrome. So I put out a post, and I had this whole thing where we were talking about words that women have invented, words/phrases, because it's Women's History Month, right? And so putting that out to just let you know where these things originated from, right? Because, words come from somebody. But the whole thing of imposter syndrome, people feeling it's like a certain type of fear for not accomplishing a certain thing, like maybe they're in a position and they don't feel worthy of being in that. Have you heard a lot of people saying that lately?
Yes.
Do you think they're saying it because they heard it or because they genuinely feel it, though?
I think imposter syndrome is a real thing.
Okay.
Like, you've overcome so many obstacles. Maybe you've broken generational curses. Maybe you're the first one in your family to start a business. Maybe you're the first one in your family to graduate from college. Now you have this position. And the subconscious mind, we feel like this is not supposed to be me. Even though I had the blood, the sweat, the tears, and all the accomplishments to say I belong here, we feel in our subconscious mind that we don't. And we struggle with that. A lot of professionals that I see struggle with imposter syndrome. They have reached this level of success that everyone wants, but they still kind of had this almost insecurity or this fear of, okay, the bottom is getting ready to fall out. And because this is just not supposed to be me. I'm supposed to be someplace else where everyone else is, and I'm in a different place. So imposter syndrome is a real thing. And it's something that you can work through in counseling to build, because there's a part of us that's not confident, which is why imposter syndrome is there, to know that I am enough. I do belong here. I worked hard, and I don't have to apologize or dumb myself down and say I'm still such and such, that thing, because of my successes, and that's a challenge.
Well, I think that I love exactly your answer, but sometimes I think that people find reasons to not be who they really are. Like, you know what I'm saying? To not be as successful. Yeah. So, and I mean it more so in the, like, let's just say this. So, all right, so you get a degree, right? And let's say you got a bachelor's degree. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't have my master's. Okay, you get a master's degree. Okay, well, I don't have my PhD. And then it's like, well, I want to be a reverend doctor. Like, reverend doctor is one of my favorite things to say. I just love reverend doctor. I don't know what it is, but I love to say reverend doctor. But it's like, people want to keep trying to get to a next level. And so to me, I don't know if that's considered imposter syndrome, but they feel like they can't get fulfilled until they get to whatever that next thing is. And it's just like, I thought about it at one point in time. I was like, yeah, you know, I want to be Dr. such and such. And then I'm just like, I don't really want to go back to school right now. Like, I have no desire to do that. You know, like, can I just go live life and do well and then make the decision later on if I do want to do that? If I never do it, then okay. And to me, it was always reasons to get to a place. Like, my reasoning for getting an MBA wasn't just so I could just say MBA at the end of my name, but it was to be able to teach in higher education. There were certain things that I knew that I wanted, but then I still changed that. I have no desire at this point in time to teach in that capacity because I don't want to grade papers. So like, when I look at people and they're like, oh yeah, I'm at the university level and I'm trying to get tenure, and I'm just like, girl, you get your tenure, do it. But I'm just like, how many papers do you have to grade? And then how many people complain every semester? And how many people are late with their assignments, or they're trying to get them in at 12:01, and then you still have to do all the rest of that. So I look at the workload and all of the rest of that comes with it, but it's some people that they keep trying to find the next thing to achieve, and it seems like they're never satisfied.
I think motive is important. You know, I think it's performance driven. You know, you can be performance driven. You do what you do because you get this superficial feeling of accomplishment. Yeah. And then you have to go on to the next thing. But what are your motives? Is motives, okay, I want to do research, I want to teach other people, that kind of thing. Is that what I'm passionate about? Or am I trying to get another certificate to say, hey, I did it, so now I'll do it, you know, that kind of thing. So motive is definitely key here, and knowing that, again, I don't have, if my motives are pure, I'm doing it from a pure place. If my motives are not pure, I'm doing it because I'm trying to impress you. And that's the difference.
Now I have to flip that around. So I'm looking at you know who Kiki Wyatt is, right? Okay, so Kiki Wyatt is a singer, for those of y'all don't know, and she just had her 10th baby. Now, you know, after 0 babies, I'm happy. 0. 0. I know y'all thought I was going to say a number. 0 babies and I'm happy, right? So I'm going to do 2 different things on this Kiki Wyatt thing. One thing that I see is, I was reading something the other day, and it was talking about the oxytocin and all the stuff in your brain, and that being pregnant, it increases the oxytocin, and that may be one of the reasons that people like to be pregnant. And I'm just like, 10 whole babies.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I'm just thinking, I think some people like to be pregnant.
So maybe they do. Some people do like to. I cannot relate. I have 0 babies.
Do y'all see my eyes? And I'm not knocking it if that's what you like. And it's not just if that's what you like and you can afford it, okay? Because y'all remember Michael Jackson said, if you can't feed the baby, don't have the baby, okay? But I just think, like, 10 kids. Back in the day when you had a farm and land and stuff like that, I can understand it. But we don't even have, I mean, that's just, the average person doesn't have that. And I know she can afford the kids, but I'm just like, to me, that seems like one of those, like, levels of accomplishment. Like, how many kids can I have? And I mean, I don't have a problem with it because I know she can afford the babies and she's going to take care of them. But I'm just like, that is a lot of responsibility.
It is. Yeah, and again, I think it's a motive. If that's her thing, and if she feels as though that's what she's supposed to do, you know. Of course, we don't know her motives, and it wouldn't be my personal choice. Like I said, I'm like you. I don't have any kids. I don't know if I would have to, I had my nephews, and I give them back, to their parents after a while. But as long as your motives are pure, I know people have a lot of kids and they're like, oh, I just feel like my family is growing and we're not done yet and all that kind of stuff. So just as long as your motives are pure.
Because even if you look at, so for my guys out there, Phillip Rivers, okay, who plays football, kids on kids on kids. And I'm just like, aren't y'all just a sheer amount of noise of somebody asking you something, whether they're crying or talking, it's just too much for me to take. I couldn't do it, right? And I have a stepson, okay? Stepson, however you want to say it. He is almost 18, and I'm just like, good job.
Right.
Like, let's get you to 18, and then let's get you to 21. So having, little teeny weeny people that just keep coming out of the womb every year, it seemed like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it does make me a bit much, as long,
Yeah. But the septuplets lady wanted to have all of those babies too.
It's just
But that's, to me, it seems like an accomplishment thing, and I think people like that attention. Okay, so now let's flip it on the other side of the Kiki to the people like you and I with the 0 babies.
Right.
What I see too, trend-wise, and I mean, even in therapy, tell me if this is something that you've been seeing, there are a lot of women that are, let's say 30, 35, 40, that don't have kids and don't want to have kids, and people tend to try to make them feel bad because they don't have any kids.
Yes, they do. Or they make it seem like something's wrong with you, or they're actually really personal questions. Can you not have kids? When do you want to have children? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm 40-something, it's a really personal question.
Don't you think that if I got this far, that I'm probably not having any?
Why does it make me less than a person? So that's outside of therapy. I just think you can nasty.
That's inside of therapy, though.
Nice,
that's
nasty, give people confidence, but you can also just check them in a nice way and be like, listen, this, no. Why is it your business?
What bills are you paying?
And it doesn't make them, doesn't make the person less than a person.
We need therapy clapbacks, though.
Right, therapy. So when I'm in session, I help people I would just build their confidence. Like, how does it affect you that other people are trying to make you feel less than? Okay. Because other people can come at you any kind of way, but they can't make you feel some kind of way. They can have their opinion about you, but their opinion does not matter. What does your opinion about yourself matter? Okay. If that's not what you want to do, and someone keeps throwing it at you, and they, as long as they're not being disrespectful, make sure that you are confident in where your place is in life. And then if they are being disrespectful or something like that, then you can say, no, listen, you didn't ask me that. You can check people or say, that's inappropriate. Let's not do that again, that kind of thing. But is it affecting you, how their opinion of you, and is it affecting your confidence and your self-esteem to be like, you kind of putting yourself down, like, I don't have the kids, You're
so professional. She gave us the regular version, and then she went straight into therapy mode, because I'm just thinking sometimes people are really disrespectful, and like, even when you first get married, people are just like, oh, so when y'all gonna have some babies? Y'all ain't had babies yet, and I'm just like, and then there's some people that want babies they can't conceive, and or people that have had miscarriages or anything like that, and you don't know what the reason is that somebody has not had kids.
Right, yeah.
So
absolutely.
people can be real disrespectful. So that's why I said I want to go to the extreme with like a Kiki, and then to the, okay, well, I don't have any and I'm not trying to have any kind of thing, just because I think that if people can get a perspective on it, that can help them make decisions. You know what I'm saying? And so if they're saying, look, I'm coming to her because I know I have these problems and I kind of want to work it out. Do you do anything where there is, because some people specialize in like families or couples or anything like that, do you have a specialty area?
I see children, I see families, I see individuals. Okay. So I mainly been seeing like individuals and families, now like 1 or 2 couples that I've been seeing. But I'm really trying to focus more on individuals and then families as well. Okay. Like I said, young professionals, people experience anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome is one of them. Yeah. And this is just a wide range of folks that come. I do evening and weekend appointments as well, which is really helpful. A lot of people want to come in just because I do have those evening hours.
Evening and weekends.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so you can come in for that. So it just depends upon what you're looking for. I always say most therapists have a website. You can kind of look at what their specialty is. My specialty may be one thing, but what are you really, looking for? Psychology Today, therapyforblackgirls.com is a good one.
I look at that all the time. I started following them on Instagram, and they put out really good content.
Really good content. Yeah. So you want to make sure that the therapist specializes in what it is that you're seeking counseling for. I think it's from a business perspective as well. You don't want to see a generalist. From a business perspective, you see a generalist does not attract clients in anyway. Therapists is the same way. You want to see a therapist that has some experience, some background,
a focus on what you're talking
about. A focus in what you are trying to get assistance with.
How long would you say that and I don't know if should, but or how long do? So maybe I have to ask the question in both of those ways. Do you typically see a person? And the reason I'm kind of saying that is because you gave us the time parameters as far as if it was a job and how many sessions they would be willing to give to you or to the person. But if you're saying, okay, well, look, I feel like I need a therapist, and I know everybody's issues are different, but do you end up seeing them for a couple of sessions, or is it like months or like years? Like, how does that usually, on average, I guess, kind of vary?
On average, some people tend to fall away in general after some time. Generally, it depends upon what's going on in the acuity level of their mental health. Okay. For a lot of my people that I've saw who had like severe trauma, I've seen them for a couple of years. Okay. But the people that maybe experience mild depression, I've seen a lot of people experience stress. It's like 6 months or less. Okay. I have a few people I've seen for maybe a year. So it really just depends on what's going on. I never say up front, like, okay, we got to meet, we got to meet for the whole year. Yeah. It's more like we set goals, we set measurable goals, and then we kind of check back in periodically as far as where the progress is. And eventually you get to the point where you met your goals, your counseling goals, you got a lot of tools, and we just got to discharge you because, like, you graduated, you had finished, you got what you needed, and we
but I think people can get addicted on therapy.
They can.
Too.
They don't want to stop, and they want to use their therapy session as time to talk. And like,
but you know what?
Right.
I mean, I could see where a person that I don't even want to say. How do I want to say it in the nicest way? You can tell when a person just wants to talk, right, as opposed to they actually have an issue. So I think sometimes people might see that and be like, well, let me get this check because you're going to pay for this hour or whatever this time is. Right. But if you know that this person is really, they've reached their capacity for what they needed, you help them with that thing, they should go on. Right. Absolutely. Now, do you usually, like, at that point, recommend them to another therapist or, just kind of say, okay, well, if you really need me, you can still come back and have a session.
Right. Usually it just depends. Most of the time, we kind of know, we prepare for discharge a couple months in advance. So we may say, okay, maybe I was seeing someone once a week. Then we go from once a week to twice a week. Then we go or not twice a week, so every other week or something like that. And then by the time we're getting ready for discharge, I may have saw the person maybe once every 3 weeks. So I try to titrate it down, and then we discharge. We kind of prepare. We may do a final closure session. Yeah. But we know in advance. We're not just gonna be like, okay, well, you met your goal. Bye. It's more like we've been preparing for this for quite some time.
Okay, and then do people come? Do you usually, like, if they're on a therapy plan? I'm going to use that for the sake of the words, right? Is it that they come weekly, or do they come monthly or bi-weekly? Like, how do you usually? Is it based on their needs where you say, okay, no, I need to see you every week? Or is it like, okay, well, look, we do every other week? Because, like, even when I have clients, I do not need to see them more than once a month. Right. Because the amount of stuff that I'm going to give you to do, it should take you a month to do those things. Yeah. So I'm not trying to see anybody every week because it's not necessary. Right. So is it usually weekly or bi-weekly, or how does that usually work?
Yeah, again, that depends upon the person. Some people are not able to come back. Generally, I see people once every 2 weeks. Okay. But again, it depends upon what's going on. Sometimes people in their insurance, they don't want to come. Maybe they have a certain amount of EAP sessions. They know they don't want to use, so they want to. But again, it just depends upon There's some people I really don't need to see you. I had somebody refer to me, and he said, you can see her 3 or 4 times a week. I was like, no, I'm not.
3 or 4 times?
No, I'm not. No, ma'am. We're not seeing each other 3 or 4. But I've had people I saw twice a week. So.
Y'all see my face? That's a whole relationship.
I do not want to see anybody 3 or 4 times.
No.
Not the same person.
But see, that's the same reason why I don't want to teach at the regular. Right. Then you see people 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Why do I need to see you so much? Right. I don't. Okay, I'm sorry. So I just went off on my own tangent.
It is true. But we usually, again, at the end of your first session, we kind of determine how often we need.
So it's between you and the patient,
right? And again, depending on what's going on, the severe people that have a lot of trauma going on, sometimes we may have to see them more like weekly or something like that. So again, it just depends. Once that evaluation happens, we look at like what's going on with you, how often are you having symptoms, things of that nature. Then it really determines more. We have a plan set in place, so you know what's going to happen at your next session.
No, I like that because I know that's a question that somebody would ask. But how often can I come see you? Or how often do I need to see you? And it's like, you don't need to be here every day. Like, that's not what this is for. Yeah. So is there, like, if a person says, okay, look, I want to come for the first time. Do they, when they come to do their initial, you said evaluation, right? Do they pay that, or is that a part of like if they have a job and they have insurance, do they pay like a copay the first time? Or like if they didn't have insurance, do they pay like straight out of pocket to come for the first time to do the evaluation?
So your first time is going to be whatever your insurance is. So we will bill your insurance your first session. Okay. So if you're using your insurance, that we build. If you're using your EAP, then we'll use use that. If you're paying out of pocket, then we'll use that. But the first session is a billable session.
Okay, and I just, because, you know, some people be like, oh, you could just, and it's just like, I don't do that.
Right.
You want me to just come talk to you for free? I'm sorry, but I just don't. So it's just like, well, let me see if we want, if you've checked me out, then you already know who I am and what I do. Right. So you know when you come talk to me, this is money. This is not a let's just have a drink. Let's have a sip. That's not what this is. This is we're going to work on your business.
Now, there are some therapists that do like 30-minute consultations. I did not do them. Tried it. Did not work for me.
Not for her.
But I don't do 30-minute. I don't do consultations because they end up turning into sessions anyway. Yeah. So I'm like, no. And I'm gonna turn around and have you another session and do actually the exact same questions I would ask at the consultation. To me, it's like we're doing the same thing.
It defeats the purpose.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but there are some therapists, if you're going to try some other therapists, ask them about that too. They do. I just have to not do it.
Okay. All right. Now, have you, I don't want to say taken, but other people have given you clients because they didn't fit them too?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
They have referred clients to me. I have referred clients to other people that have more of a specialty in that particular area. There's some people that need a lot more that I can give. Like if you're someone that really needs more like services in place, like you need a doctor, you need a therapist, you need maybe a community-based service, maybe you need something else going on. There's certain agencies that do all of that I might necessarily do, and I'm okay, with that. So I kind of know what the different agencies are in Greensboro, and then we refer you there and make sure we get consent forms and try to do what we call warm transfers. Okay,
and that makes sense. So the other question would be where you located, because you said Greensboro, and so people may need to travel, but even before you give us like a physical location, there may be somebody that's seeing this that's not in Greensboro, that's not in the area. Can you do like, you know how they do telemed where you look, Zoom or whatever like that, or where it's something where it's over the phone and you're talking to the person? Do you do that type of counseling?
I do not do telemental health. There are therapists out there who do telemental health. It just happens to not be me. But I'm located in downtown Greensboro. And there's another location that we have that's a location for women and children, so you have to call in and we'll give you that address as well.
She don't want you just popping up. That's
why just pop up.
But she just letting you know she's in downtown Greensboro, because people will just pop up. You know that, right? But there are certain people that I've had on the show that they want people to just pop up because of the nature of what their business is.
We do all scheduled appointments.
Yeah, but therapy, you can't just pop up and somebody's in session and you talking about, hello, I need some therapy. Like, no, we need to schedule this. So, but Greensboro. So people can travel.
Yeah, you can. And we can get you in pretty quickly, though. So if you can get you in, like, if you need an appointment right away, like within 24 to 48 hours for the most part, unless something else is going on, but we can get you in fairly quickly. We do day appointments and evening appointments. Our evening appointments are not as plentiful as day appointments. More in the daytime. Sorry, our evening appointments, they get booked out pretty quickly because those are the ones that people want.
Because it's after work.
But it's after work. So you have to call fairly quickly, but we can still get you in.
Okay.
Right.
And that's good to know, because there's somebody out there that's watching right now that needs to get an appointment. Phone number and website, though.
Sure. Website is
if you don't want to give them a phone number. It's up to you.
Oh, yeah, I can give you.
Okay. It's not my first. I don't like to give out a phone number. I just said that, and I was like, she might not want to give you the phone number. But no, it's okay.
I've had people assume this is my personal cell number. I'm not giving you that. It is a business line, and you'll get the business number. You try to text it, it's going to hit you back like, no, this is a business
number. There you go.
Call the office.
Yes, ma'am.
So our number is 336-543-0159. Okay, you can give that number a call. You can also go to the website at www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com. You can actually schedule your own appointment, whether you're a new client or not. It's actually a confidential record, so you can go in there, put in your information. It's not going to confirm your appointment completely. I have to go into my system and confirm, and I'll call you and verify your insurance and all that. But you can still just go in and schedule your appointment.
Okay. Now, it's one other thing that we need to touch on.
Sure.
Because I don't even know how she does this. So we about to go to a whole nother level. So I've written one book, okay? This baby is going to be 4 years old this month, actually, okay? And I don't even want to tell them, okay? And this is not a comparison thing. I'm just telling you I have written one book, okay? I go online, and where's my phone? And I look through her Instagram, and I'm like, I just keep on scrolling and scrolling. Tell them how many books you have written. Just tell them.
I've written 54 books.
54, not 54. We can't even say it like that. We can't say 54. Okay, right. We can't be proper with it. 54 books. Okay, how in the world all of the time that you just spend in school with your clients, running your business, how do you have time to write 54? And in what time span is this 54 books?
Well, I wrote my first book in 2006, so it's been a long time. I didn't publish until 2008, but it's been a long time.
Okay.
So I always say I love counseling, but writing is my obsession. Like I gotta write you get up in the morning, you gotta drink your water. Like I gotta get up in the morning and write. So that's kind of, so I'm low key obsessed with it. And that's how I've written. And I've always had places where I worked at where they had a lot of downtime. Like I used to work in a hospital, like 3 to 4 hours. We would have downtime where our clients would be doing stuff, and so I'd be in there like.
Okay, so you found time in between.
I always found time, and I write very quickly. It takes more. I have more time, to edit. It takes more time to edit a book for me to write a book. So sending it to my editor and getting all that stuff done is more. It takes more time for that. But writing has just been my absolute passion and obsession and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't do the therapy. I'm just saying, honey, you just be writing. So when I'm looking at it, I'm just like, is that another book? And I'm just scrolling like, okay, that's not the same book from the other day.
Right.
Okay, this is another book. And I'm just looking, I'm like, what? How many books? And it's just, to me, one of those things where I think it's amazing because I am in the process now of writing point something amount of books. So I think it's like 2 to 3. And I think that you get to a point where I am a person where I have to sit down and I just have to do it.
Right.
Otherwise, I'll have ideas and I'll put them in the phone, and then some of them I'll write on a notepad, and then I'll come back and I'll be like, oh, I should do this. And then some things when I'm thinking, oh, this should be its own book by itself.
Right.
And then it's like, to find the time to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to focus on just this book today. I think that for me, I like to look at books like if they were presentations. Because if they were a presentation, I would have X amount of slides, and then I would say these things with that. And so once I sit down, I can focus on it like that. But just thinking about it, like, it'll take me a long time to think about what I want to put into one book. Yeah. And 54 of them, I'm just like... How do you just...
Yes, I'm definitely really,
I don't even know
organized.
what question to ask you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you just have more stuff to say sometimes, I think? Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It is.
I'm very organized, and most of the time, from start to finish, I know I have a general outline, but I don't know, like, everything I'm going to say. I just... had the outline, I start, and then it just starts flowing and flowing and flowing, and then it turns into, and it goes, and then I have to make, after the fact, I go and take stuff out, make sure it makes sense and all that kind of stuff. But once I start, I'm just like...
How long would you say from start to finish it take? Because, I mean, now you got it down pat. So how long would it take for you to just, like, start to finish, to write it, not the editing and all of that part?
It could take me 30 days or less.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've heard people saying I've written a book in a week. I don't really recommend that. Generally, the type of books I've written is 30 days or less.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes more because I do a lot of research depending upon the book. The last book I wrote, I did a lot of research, like a couple months, just like studying and like all that kind of stuff too.
Okay, really. No, that's good to know because you're saying, okay, I got the research, it's in my mind now, I can go ahead and sit down and I can write, and then I can get it knocked out. Right. And then you send it to the editor, and then it's like, okay, now we're back, then we can go ahead and we got a new book that we publish. Yeah. But no, I think that's great. Now, are all your books, like, are they ebooks or are they physical copies? Because I know I've seen some things where it looks like some are physical copies, some are ebooks. So what are you doing with that?
So I have... Most of them are all they're physical and they're ebooks. Okay. Like I do ebooks. It just depends, but most of them are ebooks. You can find them on Amazon, but you can download or you can. I like physical books. That's why I do too. That's why I still print them out. I mean, I still buy them and do regular books as well. So usually I do both of them though. Unless it's a workbook. I haven't done e-workbooks. So I just have done. Because
it does seem like it's like, I don't want to say stupid, but like, if the point was for you to write down, like you just have to. But then the thing is, a person can print it out. Right. And that's the one, and that is the main reason why I never made my book an ebook. Mm-hmm. And people have asked me, and I was just like, but you need to write in it. Like, it's to me like, that's the therapy. The therapy is to sit down and write. Right. Because when you get your thoughts out, it's like a clarity that I don't think that you could get from... I mean, you can get a lot from saying stuff, but you sitting down and actually writing things out to me, you really thought about it. Because it's easy to just be flipping and just say something, and be like, I didn't mean to say that, you know? But when you sit down and you actually take your thoughts and write them out, to me, that's like, you really cared about what you said, or you really you felt this, and you really wanted to put that out. So that's the reason why I never made it an ebook. Now I might go ahead and do that this year, since she's going to turn 4 years old. Maybe that'll be her birthday present. But it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I want you to have it in your hands, because there's something powerful about a tangible book. That, I mean, Book of Eli, y'all. Okay, I mean, if y'all have never seen that, Denzel Washington, I'm not going to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but the word, you know, just to make it simple, is a powerful thing. But when it's written, it just holds so much more weight.
I like taking regular. I like highlighting and putting notes on it. Even if it's not a workbook, I'm like, if I'm really into it, like I'm a student all the time.
But
so
it's
I'm
pieces
just like,
you need to go back in, things you need to quote,
take notes and stuff.
That's okay. Yeah, and so I felt like that was okay, and I just needed to know that though, because I'm just like 54. Wow, that's amazing, and I'm just like, I'm so proud of you.
Well,
like,
you.
I mean, like not like. Not like it sounds like I'm trying to be demeaned there. I'm like really amazed that she has sit down and took the time, because I know how much time it takes to do that, and then to go back and edit and all the rest of that, and I'm just like, woo. That's a lot. So, okay, because I needed to touch on that before we let people go out of here. So if there are any other aspiring writers, then, I mean, if you took, you know, what she's saying to heart, and you got some good stuff to say, you know, think about it. If you did that, you could do 12 books in a year. If it took you like every 30 days to do one, you know, I think I could do it. I just think would I want to do it? That'd be my question.
Right. Yeah. And I say that even if you do one, I mean, just get it done. I had so many people come up to me after I wrote the book and say, "Oh, I want to write a book," or "I got this idea," and this and that, and they never do it. Like, do one, and then afterwards, you know the process, you know how to do it, and then whatever time you can get the second one done.
Exactly.
But at least do the first one. I know people 5-6 years ago, they're like, "I want to write a book," and
it's 5 or 6 years later. And then she crushing everybody out here writing books. But no, I think that is, because the thing that people don't realize is that that's money in perpetuity.
Right.
You know, you may have a month where you got a whole bunch of books sold. You may have a month where it's one book sold, but you still made money off of that book that you wrote one time, and now you're able to capitalize off of it. Absolutely. And then, you know, what if it gets really big? You know, what if somebody's like, I want to do a screenplay off of your book, or if somebody wants to use it in a movie or something like that. I mean, you don't know. It could become a play. It could become so many different things.
And so many other opportunities, like your speaking engagements.
Come on, tell them.
When I go to a speaking engagement, most of the time I'm always going to bring my, not all of them, but I'm going to bring books there, back end table, whatever you call it. So that's, again, I'm speaking there, and then I have the back of people, they want to know more about you after they finish speaking. They want to know, like, who you are, and then they have that, okay, you can get this book, or, you know what I mean? So it just helps in general, particularly for professionals.
It does. And I mean, I think it helps to make you an authority, and I think people do see you in a different light when you write a book, because that was time and effort that you took to put some thought into giving something else to the world, you know? And you don't have to be there in order for that person to read that book. So to me, that's an important thing, and I know it's helped me individually, just professionally. So I think that if you want to write something, then go ahead and write it. And maybe you need to go sit down and have your appointment with the therapist, and then you'll think about what you need to write. And then by the time your sessions is over, you'll have a whole book out there. I mean, like, that would be amazing, because I'm sure somebody has a breakthrough that they have not gotten yet.
I've actually said at the class, I've said, "Oh my gosh, you need to write a book." And they're like, "I've been told that before." And I'm like,
they should.
"You really need to write a book."
Yes, and they give you 10% of the check, and you can write the forward or something, right? Write the forward for them. I think that would be amazing. Okay, this has been a great conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you for
now,
having me.
I'm going to work on having some more therapists on. So you are the first therapist that I've had on, but I just felt like it was important because, you know, we talk about things all the time, but if people can't see somebody that is in their community, or somebody, like you said, that looks like them, oftentimes it's just a figment of their imagination or something that they say. But once they can see it, then it's like, oh, okay, well, shoot, well, let me go to her. You know, and that's the thing that I want to encourage, is that we do help each other with the small businesses and be able to let people know that there is somebody out here that's providing this service.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I'm more partial to women and more partial to Black women. I'm just going to be honest. Y'all already know. But if it's a small business, that doesn't, it does my heart even better. The big guys don't need to come on this show, okay? And I'm not to say that they don't, because if they want to give up some money, come on over here, y'all. But it's smaller businesses that are right here in our community that people need to know about, and that's the whole thing, of give it to the people.
Absolutely.
So, you want to tell them anything else before we go?
I think that's it. Again, if you want to visit my website, www.kingdomcreativecounseling.com, as stated. And if you're interested, go ahead and schedule your appointment and give us a call.
There you go. All right, so if you are watching, make sure that you share this with somebody else, tag them. If you are listening, then you can go ahead and download the episodes, and you can also share them online as well. And always make sure that you show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Give It to the People Radio. Make sure that you follow us online at ladybusiness.com, LadyBizness. We look forward to helping you grow, sustain, and maintain your business.